So, welcome everyone to this absolutely beautiful morning where we come together for the 7 days of rest. This is day 3, and this growing field of coherence that we're building together. My name is Shelley Darling, and what we're doing here is really coming together in full participation of our heart's expression. And we do that through focusing on a particular theme and coming together and in the moment that feels completely in alignment with the field frequency. This home frequency, we start sharing and we follow this thread. So I'll be describing that, but I want to first start out with really honoring the 7 days of rest and the initiation that came through Shelley Ostroff, who was just on a call with Dr. Julie Krull, who's here with us, and a phenomenal call and inspiring us to really come into this mutual nourishment, to step in from understanding that we are whole beings serving the whole. And when we're in alignment with that and in resonance with that, magic happens. So really we're coming together as communities around the world with a unified field of intention and actioning for the healing of the earth and the children of the earth. And we are that. And this particular call is really hosted by Good of the Whole. And Good of the Whole is where planetary stewards are coming together, advocating this ethos of wholeness, really embodying and experiencing and expressing that wholeness and coming together in a common union, a communion, and understanding that as we invest our time and talent and resources to support that, we're actually cultivating a culture of wholeness. And if you notice, if you've been part of the 7 days of rest or just been on our calls, you'll notice that what starts to happen is your body, you start to relax in your body. This is an incredibly safe space. There's no pressure here other than the pressure that you might be putting on yourself. But there is no pressure. And so we consciously focus on the energy of the field. So with that, we always open with a resonance, a heart centering, and then I'll share into this focus today, which is really about resting in loving movement. So with that, we'll invite Julie Krull, the co-founder of Good of the Whole, to open our call, and then I'll come on in and share a few guidelines with you.
Alrighty, let's just gently close our eyes and take a few deep cleansing breaths, few nourishing breaths. And just pay attention to the movement. Since we're talking about loving movement today, just really tune into the awareness of movement of the breath. As we tune into that, we notice the heart center. And as the breath moves throughout the whole body, it's pulsating throughout the heart center of our being. And I'm really loving the silence today. It's hard to break that silence with voice. It feels so nourishing just to be in that silence of movement and breath. With the next breath, really be aware of your connection with self and the divine spark that lives within you. So rest in the awareness of your own divinity, and your own connectedness with all things. And then move that connection and that field that's holding us out into the collective field of other. Here we are on the call, we're connecting. We may have other individuals in our spaces and we're connected. And let's just honor our connection to other. And then bring that and expand that out to all of creation and all of her inhabitants. Some of us may have domestic pets in our space. Others may have birds and wildlife and rabbits running outside our windows. And we can imagine going deep into the forests or deep into the tropics or deep into the oceans. So let us bring that connection to all of creation's inhabitants on the planet. And then expand that awareness to our Mother Earth, our home, our life-giving, beautiful support system that's here with us, as us. And then with one more breath, just really honor the divinity that moves and flows within all of this. In us, as us. The sacredness of all beings as part of a unified whole. One more breath of gratitude. And we come back to this collective global heart resonance call. And Shelley will move us forward.
Thank you, Julie. So welcome everyone, and welcome everyone who just joined us. Resting in the movement. And how perfect that is. As soon as we started this call and Julie started to share, all of a sudden my parents and their dog and everyone walked into the space that I was in. I was like, and it's so incredible because this is the movement. There's the movement inside and the movement outside, and sometimes it feels like chaos and all of a sudden. But to stay connected, all I needed to do was just connect with my heart and take that breath and make the move that I needed to make with that beneficial support. So from inside. So with that, I'm really excited to open this call this morning. I'll open it with the 7 days of rest. Every day there's this beautiful poem and this focus, and today resting in movement. But first, before I do that, I want to just share some guidelines with those that are new on this call. So just a few guidelines. So with this call, unlike other incredible, beautiful opportunities with many, many different types of circle, we really focus on the unified field. Okay, we focus on the heart. And so there are just a couple of things. One is we invite you to speak from that heart essence, from that love, in the moment that you really know. It's like a knowing. It's like it just comes out and into the circle here. It fields the ocean of our love. And together we're building that sense of wholeness. So just speaking from that place, we're listening to the thread that's emerging. So as we focus on the whole, there's something that there is a thread, like a woven, a weft thread, and we're following that thread together. So even though you might have a thought at one moment, as that thread moves, it might shift. And to allow yourself to be that fluid in the movement, to rest in the movement, following the thread that's emerging. And really important is speaking 1 to 2 minutes to bring your share all the way down to the bottom line. What's really wanting to come through. What's simple is what's true. As you can see, for many of us, we have a lot of people on this call. And so in this call, we may not hear from necessarily everybody, but what that consciousness of love wants to inform us with will be very incredibly fulfilling. So speaking 1 to 2 minutes. And also you can speak more than once. Just trusting that expression when it wants to happen. And the other vital piece is the pause. The pause is so important here. To allow a pause, that space between, that liminal space of that deep sense of stillness. Because in that stillness is the vastness of this wide consciousness, this cosmic consciousness that's delivering itself to us here in this circle today. That fully informs us. And honestly, that's really it. I just want to add a couple of things for those who are coming on a phone call, who are dialing in. You can download Zoom on your phone, so you can see everybody. It's beautiful. And if you're on a phone, you can just swipe left and it will keep showing you this group, because that's really part of why we here at Good of the Whole and on this Global Heart Resonance call, we love this accessibility to each other, because it's like we're sitting with each other. So with that, I'm going to open the call with this beautiful, well, not open it, we already had the resonance, but this sharing from the 7 days of rest, day 3. So again, just staying connected in that heart. And we give ourselves to the moment and to the movement that knows the way. And the waves pulsate intimately through our veins, in the core of our being, a calling. A direction is being woven, a commitment of love's meeting, calling us beyond reason, a call of passion, of hope, of compassion and contribution, to the richness of our co-created wholeness and the nourishing interplay of all that moves with love. Just taking a breath there. And as Julie was sharing, just breathing into that sense of place, that sense of power within. Feeling that rising from essence. And that intention, that deep relationship with intuition that brings forth the shared intention of each one of us. Noticing the movement, so softening your body as you're inside of this call, noticing where the tension is, and just simply with that breath to release and open and receive. And as was being shared on that beautiful call, mutual nourishment. We are mutually nourishing each other. And with the inclusivity of the consciousness of the trees, of nature, of the animals, and the elements. And this is our practice here this morning. So what we invite you to do is we're just passing this virtual crystalline talking stick. And when you feel it, you can just grab it by unmuting yourself and sharing from the heart that which is divinely being inspired. So with that, we open the call and allow the pause, and whoever feels like grabbing that beautiful talking stick, feel free to do so. And so it is. I'm complete and whole and home.
Hello, this is Shanti Hart, and as Julie, you did that beautiful resonance meditation, and thinking of the movement, I just felt so strongly Gaia being with us, and we're always moving because she's always moving in orbit, and we're soaring through the universe together in that movement. And other beings that I was connecting with were the stone people, and the mountains and the rocks, and the standing ones, the trees, and the thunder beings that keep this water cycle moving. And that's the movement I'm tapping into today, because I feel like I'm reaching out and touching each of you with that movement. And I'm complete.
Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. This is Linda, and following that thread of touching all sentient beings on the planet. We are made of everything on earth. We're made of the water and the soil and the air. And everything that grows on Mother Earth is happening to us and inside of us. And when I look at this gorgeous tapestry of faces, that we are just here together, representing and connecting to everything and everyone. And it feels very whole. And it feels very unique and individual, that each square of your faces is part of the earth, it's part of humanity, it's part of me. And I'm just overflowing in that ocean of love waves that we're creating to be connected with everyone here. Feels just beautiful. So thank you, and I'm complete.
Hi, everybody. This is Elizabeth. Can you hear me? Okay, great. Pick up on connection. When I came here yesterday, it was like, I've seen her before, and I've seen her before, and I've seen her before, and it was like, it's like I'm home. And what was amazing is then I was on the website, and Julie, every post that Julie had on the website, I'm like, oh my God, yeah, I've listened to this before. Not the actual video, but it was like everything in the last 17 years of my journey is like coming back around, being embodied now. It's like organic. It's every webinar I've listened to, every person every interview, every video, from the Thunder Beings to David Bond to even the Hyperboreans. I was like, oh my Lord, every wave that has become particle is now coming back as a wave in my heart. It's like tangible now. It's being embodied. It's here. It's like I am heaven, and I am earth, and I am nature, and I am here. I am here. I am here. I am complete. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing that, Elizabeth. Hi, everyone. I'm Green. My name is Rose Treves, but I think the green suits me. I don't know how to undo the green. I'll work on that, but I did want to share how powerful. I agree, Elizabeth. My heart feels so full, and participating in all these different events is incredible. It is with the waters, the trees, so many caring people. And I just can't thank each and every one of you who are making this happen, how much your efforts are appreciated. And I think this activation for the planet, for there's no telling, I think in terms of as water, as waves, the waves are going out from this point forward. And there's no telling how far those waves are going right now. And it's extremely touching. And I just, my heart is full, as Elizabeth, you were saying, you expressed it perfectly. I think you touched everybody as you said that, and how you expressed it. So thank you very much.
I just have to jump in after that because I just love that green, because we're all going green. And the green in dowsing represents the heart, or in any metaphysical understanding of the nature of color and frequency. It's the heart. And just that recognition that this pulsating what we might think of as an organ is actually this electromagnetic generator that's creating this field of our oneness. And that's what we're doing here, just coming together. And again, for those that are new, speaking 1 to 2 minutes, and when you feel that impulse of evolution moving through you as the consciousness of green of the heart, feel free to share by unmuting yourself. I'm complete.
I just briefly want to follow that thread. This is Julie, because on my screen there's a grid of 5 by 5, and the green is right in the center. It's just beautiful. I'm complete.
Excuse me. So I'd like to share a little now in just opening to this theme of movement, loving movement. And I reflected on it yesterday and came up with that the original or primal movement is perhaps the radiation of light. Radiation of light, of let there be light. And that we are each doing that in our expression and in our listening. We are saying, let there be light. We are sharing, we are expressing our light. And one of the primal, also in original movements is love. And what I was experiencing that people have expressed is also especially the movement of connection that we're experiencing, or connection with nature, but especially connection with one another. And it's part of, as we open to our unique dance of life that we share in our expression, so that is movement, and the full expression of the wholeness of ourselves is a dance, that grows from the heart, is a dance that grows from the celebration of the light that each of us radiates. So thank you all for being here. I feel complete.
This is Dina. The light is our PowerPoint, and the calling is to now. Our power is in the present. And this is the great message. I opened a mindfulness movie last night, and there it is, just over and over. Our sovereignty rests in this moment, fully presencing right now. And this is our home frequency. This is what brings us tears of joy in recognizing our wholeness in each other, our oneness, and our unity. I'm complete.
And in that presence, in the deepest silence, I found the flow. That is the only place that I feel whole and home. Resting in the movement, riding the flow in the deepest of nothingness, of the silence. That is precious. Being home. I am complete.
This staying in the flow, this opening to the energies of the moment. It's a bit like riding this cosmic unicycle, with the constant perturbations. It's rather, that's why I love coming together as we do from our own space. Now, as you know, yesterday I was with Marcella and Oriana down at her home. So, of course, our individual timings interrupt one another a bit. And so it's hard to, just tap into your field. Um, Realizing, though, that each of you brings such, all I can do is ride my little cosmic unicycle. And we know all of those things that Shelley has to say at the beginning of the show are for me. It's easy for me to get lost in the immensity of this big wave that I felt starting with Shantae Hart and just becoming even more and more beautiful as I visualize Henry opening the space through his music and words. And, I'm just off the show with Julie. And Julie has the way, I wish I had her gift of, of tying the threads together, of weaving as she does. But as we know, I kind of run off on this one and that one, as I seem to be doing right now. I guess I just wanted to add my little feeling of the perturbations of all of the different energies that are constantly making us hone in our emotional balance, hone in how we ride that unicycle of life, the coastline, the precipice that is this huge conversation of where we go from here based on all we know. And anyway, I'm just enthralled. I thank you all for sharing your sacred time. My screen only has like 4 little boxes on the top, and then I get to see who's speaking. And that's what I like, is just kind of to tune into, oh, that's what they look like, and then tune into what they're saying. But I can't really regurgitate the thread very well. I can only tell you what my heart sings at the moment, because I do feel I'm such an empathic person, and I long to go into more story of how Oriana and her husband really take this cosmic balance dance of male and feminine to a new level, for me anyway. But I only have my experience, and we only have so much time. And so I thank you for listening, and I'll return to Crystal to talking stage.
Thank you, Red Clover. That was really nice. I'm glad to hear somebody else is a little bit off in the cosmic, other than myself. And I'm grateful for this thread that we have woven. all of us, and I'm grateful for the connections here. And you'll never know how much it really means to me to meet all of you and hear all of your different ideas and your different ways of dealing with life and your heart, because it's all coming together here. Thank you. I'm complete. This is Julie. I just want to follow that thread in that just a presence that the joy is the movement. The joy is the flow and the movement. And I love that expression that just came forward in all of its whatever, because that is precisely why we gather, to be in that flow and to experience that moment. So thank you for that. I'm complete.
I'm going to follow that. In this movement, there's magic. And the real magic that I've been feeling since the beginning of this call is that the beauty of the field is that there is no beginner or no adept, is that we're all the vibrational frequency coming forth from that state of joy, of movement, of oneness. And what happens on this call is that mental, in a sense, it's a contradiction, that mental constriction that tells us, oh, we're not good enough, or somebody can say it better than I can, absolutely dissolves here. Because we come in and we're being infused by the frequency of the field itself. It uplifts us, but it's the expression of the unification, the unitive consciousness. And as we let go into that, we realize we can relax. And there isn't that identity holding on anymore. It's not even that we have to consciously go, oh my God, I need to let go of this. Or I need to face this limbic imprinting or, limiting belief. It's just come into this field and breathe and let it inform you, let it infuse you, and let it change you into itself. That's the mothering, that's the loving, that's the resting. So that was just wanting to pour forth. So I'm complete and fulfilled in this moment. Thank you.
Hello, this is Quincy, and thank you, Shelley. Thank you, everyone. Speaking of pouring forth, as many of you have been speaking, I've been seeing this image of a volcano, and I've been feeling myself as this volcano and feeling the bubbling of becoming active again, and really resting in this place of being the volcano. It's amazing how when I'm connected as it, I used to see volcanoes as dangerous, but when they erupt, when they're active and erupt, they're so dangerous. People's lives are at stake, and but then seeing myself as the volcano when I'm dormant, when I'm still, when I'm rigid, and thinking of myself as the bubbling, the bubbling up to the surface, and how uncomfortable that must be, and how comfortable and how exciting at the same time. And putting myself as this volcano, it brought tears to my eyes from a lot of your shares. That all we really need to do is rest in this place and open the space for things to happen. And they're really releasing all fears for myself, fears of imperfection, and how that fear of imperfect is so stiff and rigid and doesn't allow things to flow. But that I can be that volcano, and I can be dormant and active, and really allowing myself to fully come forth and erupt into this being of love. And I'm grateful for that, this image and this feeling that I have. So thank you. I am complete.
And I will actually put my video on, although it's not sure what a picture, I don't have much light. However, I wanted to follow the volcano. Thank you so much, Sally, for bringing the volcano, the energy. I love what the analogy you made and the feeling of it. And it brought to me the memory of having a cabin at Mount Rainier, which is a volcano and non-active, but still not extinct. So I had many, many experiences with the volcano, and I would hike up into the woods and stay there. And there's a pool of wonder, I called it. The pool of wonder was this crystalline pool, and the fairies would gather at night. And I'd sit far enough away and just observe and be with them and send my love. And then I got more brave and I went down and I sat by the pool of wonder. And the fairies didn't come. But I went back and I kept sitting by the pool of wonder until at last the fairies came and said, "She's not leaving." She must be one of us. And I said, "Yes, I came from the land of the fairies. I went into the land of the two bigs as a two biglet. It's just taking me this long to find my way back home." So to the volcano and the energy of it, we had the magical land of the fairies and the non-material realm that interacts with us and feels the energy, the field, the thread, as you call it, that it increases as we come together. And so sending all of the love of the fairies into the land of the two bigs, and such that every two biglet can feel the love of the world and to love the world in return. And the world has a will to live. And we access it at a point of most influence in the quantum field, where this resonating field can be felt all the way through. So just imagine feeling the heart of the world. I'm feeling the love of the volcanoes and the fairies and all the love that we bring and share. And the rhythm of the moon. For we are the web of life in sync with the rhythm of the natural order. And when we come together and remember the moon, and our place in the stars, and that the universe is one star, we're inside of it. And every atom in your being belongs to one star that you are. Isn't that just so good? Oh, I want to say one thing more about the living water. For yesterday, it was the living water that had a voice. And last night, the voice of the living water came through. And knowing that the living water is aware and awakening around the world. And as we bring our love and focus and attention to the living water feels and responds. Feeling the love of the world and the water, the living water of the universe flowing in. And I am complete.
I would like to follow that, if I may, with Quincy's sharing about the volcano. What came to mind for me is the impulse of creation that Barbara speaks about, the impulse of evolution. But that impulse of creation that is within each of us. And I13 that the Big Bang that happened, or is said to have happened 13.7 billion years ago, that this author, this writer expressed that actually that Big Bang is continually happening. So it's happening within us. And as we feel our hearts are on fire for our planet. So we are gathered here because our hearts are on fire for our planet. And the solar plexus, the yellow, is that fire that connects with that. So as we are sharing that volcano within each of us, that is impelling us because of our caring for our planet, or caring for life, or caring for this experiment as we grow to the greater fullness of who we are. I feel complete.
Hello, everyone. I'm Michelle, and the greater fullness of the volcanoes that I believe we all are. And a different perspective is coming up. The volcano often creates fear and anxiety of the molten lava coming to surround us and harming us. But I'm seeing a different volcano in which we are all supposed to let our volcanoes erupt of love. And the molten love that's out there to spread and touch and encircle everything that we come encounter with, and to not be afraid to let that love shine in a way that we've never done it before, because we often love has a quietness, and we're afraid, and we don't want to intrude on anyone, and we don't want to force our views, and we don't want to, and we always are tiptoeing around, and am I good enough? Am I enough? Am I right? Am I really as great and amazing as I think I am? Or am I thinking I am amazing and I'm so confused and all that? And it's like, what is amazing? It's like, oh, the arrogance of it all. And really, really what I'm feeling is that our volcanoes want to erupt. We are all gathered here to completely burst open and erupt and just flow beyond this screen here, where we all feel very, very safe and loving and amazing, that we can go out in the world. Not only can we are expected to go out in the world and drown people around us in the love that we have, in the way that we are. And we are enough, and what we believe is accurate, and our goodness is true, and our desire to burst open and be a volcano that is oozing with goodness is accurate. And so let's go, woohoo! I feel like my head's about to explode and little hearts are gonna flow. No. oh, woohoo, keep my top on just for a moment longer.
That's my favorite word, volcanologist, one who studies volcanoes. They're fearless. They go all around the world. They study volcanoes. They collect the energy. They measure the energy, and they share it with others. Volcanologist.
Volcanologist. Oh, I think I might like that one too. The volcanologist of love. Woohoo! Oh, I feel complete. Do you have anything else?
Complete.
This is Dinah, and I just have an image to share.
Hi. We have two heads here sitting on a volcano in the Pacific in Hawaii. Thanks, Quincy, for starting this thread, and all of you for adding so beautifully to the tapestry. Yeah. So what comes to me is that the movement that I feel, that I see, that I'm observing within myself and others is from that fear to service. For years I said fear to love, but what does it look like? And when I choose service, there's the fear, it just disappears. So that's the movement, one of the movements that I see. Another movement I see is as a person who's been involved in getting a lot of things done in my lifetime. Now, when I ask myself, which I do almost daily, what is it I choose to experience today? Or I'm driving to an event, what is it I choose to experience at that event? What comes to me nearly every time is connection. And that was a thread from earlier. So that has replaced, for me, the doing achievement kinds of experiences that I wanted in the past. Connection and service are often come hand in hand. And it's not a thought, it's what comes up when I ask the question, what do I choose to experience today? So thank you for the service that each of you provides and the connection that I feel right now. And Glenn, did you want to add anything?
Well, you had triggered something there that, as you talked about achieving, a distinction. I think there's a distinction that's emerging within me between achieving and maybe allowing unfoldment. So as you said that, I started thinking about, wow, we have had a lot of achievements in our lives. You know, I think probably, of course, none of you out there. But for me, so now it's the stage that I'm in right now is really looking at allowing and observing the magic unfoldment and gratitude for that. So as the more gratitude, it seems like the more unfolding. And I don't know, the universe is doing it all. And I'm getting to watch and I'm playing and it's like, wow. And look at what we get to do, what I get to do now in terms of from this stage of life to, unfold something that makes a difference in the world, unfold a new creation. So here we are, unfolding. Here's I am.
And who can control the volcano anyway? So we may as well just say, what kind of experience do I want to have while I am the volcano, or watching, observing? So thank you, all of you.
May I take the stick?
Yes.
I just wanted to tell you all that, even though I'm at this elementary level, that after 3 sessions of this, I think that what I feel so deeply is the comfort of the silence, and most importantly, the strength of the silence. There is, I have been feeling very powerless. and about things that are happening in my world. And it's, you know, it's been heartbreaking for me. And I can't watch TV. I can't turn on the Facebook anymore. I mean, because I can't stand the friction. And when I come here every day, I feel no friction. I feel there is strength in the stillness in some way. And I am complete.
So I'm going to grab the talking stick and honor our time together. I'll just, if people can stay on a few more minutes, I'd like to, especially with this call right now, we like to just open it up from anyone who might not have just expressed themselves or just say hello. So if you feel that you're one of those beings and would like just to share for a moment, you can put yourself on mute. The rest of us can just pause for a moment in that stillness.
Well, this is Grace, and I just feel so loved up, and I'm just sending love from Kentucky.
All right. So what's really, just what I want to add is simply, we encourage you to go to Good of the Whole. For those of you who are discovering the link to participate in this as a direct dial-in number, we invite you to come to Good of the Whole and become a mentoring steward with us. Because this call, even though we're doing this now for the 7 days of rest, it will continue as a weekly environment of love. And so we want to make sure that you know about that. And simply, we have a really fun way of ending this call. And I'm saying this for people who don't know, who have just joined us today. And everyone gets to take themselves off mute. Oh, somebody's, what?
This is Dinah. I simply have an image that I'm compelled to share with everyone. When the heart pumps that downward electromagnetic generator, light just emanates so profusely. And that's the power of being present in the moment. I just saw it as this volcanic eruption within the body, in the heart. So I'm complete. I had to say it. I had to.
It's like we've got this running experience, this wonderful relationship together. So with that, this is how the call ends. And join us tomorrow. I'll be sharing the space with June Steiner, one of our resonance councils, Good of the Whole members, and Dinamo, who you just heard, she's been sharing this beauty of this field for over 5 years. So it ends with yum. Everyone can unmute yourself and this beautiful symphony of yum, and we take this energy and we now ripple it out to people. So I'm going to unmute everyone. Hold on just 1 second. Yum. Yum.
God bless you all.
Thank you,
everybody.
Thank you.
Big hugs. Big hugs.
Bye. Tomorrow.